Good morning, early bird classroom. I am here. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. I got to put that on the other side, don't I? With healthy mind, body, spirit. Don't forget, I'm the teacher here in the classroom. It's the early bird classroom, and I had to get some, our math thing set up here, and I wanted to sit outside. And then you know how it goes. So I have to get Lucy's basket here and back a few things up and get my stage ready. So give me a second while I do that. So lift that up. Lucy, get over here. I had more people pooping in my... I have. Putting their scent all over the place, and now Lucy's interested in it, and that's what I know. How I know somebody did that. Amongst other things. Like, the obvious. So, oh, good. Kind of good. I don't like having my scene be my house background. It's not the prettiest thing, obviously, because I've got nature there. Let me get Lucy's basket so she sits nice and quiet for me. Otherwise, I got to put her inside, but she's really good sitting on the porch for me. So let me get her basket. Lucy, come on. Good girl. No, sit here. I was always surprised that she was never drawn to my compost pile. All the way up until the last 2 times I put the stuff in there. And somebody's got some nasty stuff going on. Because there are nasty people around. But let's try and do this as best that we can. So we're going to get our math done. Let's take a look at our schedule for today. Our schedule. Do I have the to-do list here? I should. Although I can't see it. Because I don't have it up there. Hold on, because I really do need the to-do list, because all of a sudden I'm starting with that, and I know that that's not. There we go. Okay, so let's see what we've got. So we're going to start with math. That's the reason why I needed it. Because we're going to start with math, and we're going to do our counting on. All right, so very first thing, counting on. Let's go to my counting camera counting. Thank you. Thank you so much. So what we are going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of counting on. Remember that the idea here is that you really are trying to sharpen, develop your math skills. Of course, that's what we're trying to do. When we work with numbers, we want to work with numbers in more and more, I'm going to use a big word, complex ways. I'm going to use a complex word. We want to use our numbers and our math in more and more complex ways, because what this does is it helps us do things like I'm going to show you. It helps us do things like measure and build is what it does. That is what math helps us do. Look at how precise each one of those panels are. You can see the lines that measure each one of those panels in the cement. And they had to measure, I showed you yesterday, each one of those boards. And they had to be perfectly measured out. And the gentleman who was measuring those out, he measured them once and he measured them again, because you want to measure twice and cut once. That's what I learned. So I learned a little bit about a lot of things. But I do know that we learn our math skills to be able to do wonderful things like build a home, although that doesn't look like any home I've ever seen built ever, because we see the structure go on the outside and there's no way to get in there or out of there. So I don't know how they're getting up and down stairs over there. That looks more like a tarmac to me, like a helicopter tarmac is what it looks like to me. I don't know. Maybe that's how I'm getting the hell out of here. Let's move on, shall we? Okay, so counting on. Counting camera. Back at it. So, I picked, now these are Lego shapes. And if you recall, I always have these available. So this is another one of the counting adding projects that I have available. This one I'm pretty sure is from ed.com. I was right before I came on here. That was the last thing I was going to do was credit everybody, and now I forgot to credit everybody. I also have to get my Bookless classroom back up there. Let's count on. Let's start by counting on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here we have 8. And if we were to continue counting on, we would then have count on to 9, 10, and 11. So that we know that our total here is 11, right? Why? Because we use counting on. But we can also use our numbers as well, so that we can... Oop. Is that what I want? Nope. There we go. This is what I want. We can start with 8. We counted there on the Lego 8. On the second Lego, what do we have? We have on the second Lego, I'm going to move those over now. I'm going to move those numbers over because you don't need them anymore. We know that we have the number 8 there. So... So instead of counting on those yellow Legos, what we are going to do is we are going to count them, right? We're going to count them. So in the first set, we had 8, right? I'll put that little 8 there. And in the second set, we are not going to count on with 9. We're going to start from 1 and count those from 1. 1. 2, 3. So there we know that what we have there is 3. So now we're using our numbers to say that 8 plus 3, I'm going to eliminate those other numbers there. 8 plus 3 equals 11. All right, how about that? I want you to look at it. I'm stopping there for just a minute, right? We did the counting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then to the yellows, 9, 10, 11. In the green Lego, we had 8 dots. In the yellow Lego, we had 3 dots. 8 plus 3 equals 11, right? Excellent. Do you see what we just did? Of course you see what we just did. We just did item number 1, counting on. Now, let's do 3-digit math problems. Those are the ones that I was setting up before you got here. Let's see here. I think I need to put that up a little bit. Or no, what I need to do is just tilt this down a little bit, right? Yes, Dr. Feravich, that's how it works. Okay, I found I found 2 new markers because I thought they might work a little bit better. There's my little easel. Just be awesome. Just be awesome. Now we're going to start doing, I had an extra sheet of math problems for you, and those extra sheet of math problems were 2-digit math problems. Now we're moving to 3-digit math problems, as it says on our to-do list. So let's take a look at this as best that we can, because this is the only thing that you guys care about. I think that's pretty good. The only problem is I can't get close enough to it. So okay, I think this will absolutely work. There we go. This will work. Okay, so 9 plus 7 is 16. Write down the 6 and carry the 1. 6 plus 1 is 7 plus 1 is 8. Write down my 8. My writing is not going to be that great right now. No carrying there. 6 plus 5 equals 11. And when we have a number that's over 1,000, we put a comma here to separate the placemats, the places, the place numbers, the hundreds from the thousands. Remember our place values: ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. All right? I'm going to move this in. Oh, even better. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to talk about this with place values in just a minute. 3 plus 6 is 9. 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 plus 8 is 17. The comma separates the hundreds from the thousands. 1,799. 916 plus 883 equals 1,799. 1 plus 3 is 4. 1 plus 0 is 1. 5 plus 5 is 10. 513 plus 501 equals 1,014. That's how we say that. 1,014. 0 plus 0 is 0. 2 plus 1 is 3. 8 plus 5 is 13. 820 plus 510 equals 1,330. Now I have these problems that you can do as well. I got most of these problems from superkids.com. 8 plus 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 7 plus 5 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. Carry the 1 again. Now I've got a 10. 10 plus 6 is 16. Do the math the easiest way. It doesn't matter if I start with the 6 or the 1 or the 9. 6 plus 9 is 15, plus 1 is 16. 972 plus 658 equals 1,630. 4 plus 3 is 7. So is 3 plus 4 7. 6 plus 3 is 9. So is 3 plus 9 6. 5 plus 5 is 10. I put a comma to separate the thousands from the hundreds. 563 plus 534 equals 1,097. That's how we say that. 1 plus 3 is 4. So is 3 plus 1 4. 2 plus 9 is 11. Write down the 1 and carry the tens, right? That's a 10. 6 plus 5 is 11. Plus 1 is 12. 621 plus 593 equals 1,214. 2 plus 1 is 3. 4 plus 2 is 6. 5 plus 5 is 10. Separate the hundreds from the thousands. 542 plus 521 equals 1,063. 7 plus 0 equals 7. 4 plus 6 equals 10. Carry the 1. 8 plus 7 equals 15 plus 1 is 16. 860 plus 747 equals 1,607. 9 plus 3 is 12. Carry the 1. Write down the 2 and carry the 1, which is tens. 7 plus 2 is 9 plus 1 is 10. Write down the 0 and carry the 1. 5 plus 5 is 10 plus 1 is 11. 579 plus 523 equals 1,102. That's how you say that. 1 plus 0 is 1. 0 plus 0 is 0. 5 plus 5 is 10. Separate the hundreds from the thousands with a comma. 501 plus 500 equals 1,001. That's how you say that. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 4 is 4. 7 plus 8 is 15. One of the things that we said that we might want to memorize, we would like to memorize, are basic math facts. Basic math facts are memorizing your addition facts from 1 to 9. Know them all, so I could know what 7 plus 8 is automatically 15. I don't automatically know what 840 plus 700 is, but that's a pretty easy one to figure out in my head. I could figure that one and do the math in my head to figure out 1,540. But a basic math fact is not 840 plus 700. Basic math facts are knowing your addition from 0 to 9. All right? 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2, and those are pretty easy. How about 4 plus 7, right? Or how about 8 plus 4 equals 12? Carry the 1. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Write down the 3, carry the 1. 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 1 is 19. 968 plus 964 is 1,932. 8 plus 3 is 11. Write down the 1 and carry the 1, which is a 10. 9 plus 8 is 17, plus 1 is 18. Write down the 8, carry the 1. 7 plus 5 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Comma separates the hundreds from the thousands. 798 plus 583 is 1,381. Just be awesome. All right. And that was, and might I say, that was awesome. So, get our little background chart there. Get my little pillow where I need it. Behind my back, because Essential Family Chiropractic thought it was appropriate to stop giving me care like everyone else, like my tax man. The world sometimes seems like it's falling apart, doesn't it? It does to me. And I'm here, and I'm a positive psychologist. And it feels to me like it's falling apart. But come to our spiritual classroom. Come to my spiritual classroom where you are there. So our spiritual classroom. Come to my spiritual classroom and find out who is really in control. Where's our to-do list, Dr. Feravich? Let's get moving. All right, so we did our counting on. We did our 3-digit math problems, and now we're going to do our place values to 10,000. Okay, so let's turn that off. Let me get my glasses on so I can see a little bit better. I don't even know where they went. I mean, they're over there. Okay. What is that? There we go. Okay. Oh, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. What I want is... How did that happen? Give me just 1 second. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Okay, so let me get to my place value mat here if I could even find it at all. Come on, come on, come on. All right, there we go. Okay, so we don't need to see this. So that's what we want to do. We want to go back over here. That's what I want to do. There we go. Okay, all right, so remember when we are doing our place values, right? When we're doing our place values, we've got place values of ones, right? So we might have the number 5, for example. And that number 5 represents 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. That's how we count. So that we know if we had another 5 that we would just look at this and we wouldn't have to count each one. So that's how we count by 5s, right? 5, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that would be 5. We would look at that, we'd say 5, 10. If we had another one, it would be 15. Let me use the eraser and erase this right here. So that equals 5 ones equals 5, can't find that, there it is. 5 separate items, right? But when we have 1 in the 10 columns, or let's say we've got 3 in the 10 columns. Whoops. Let's say we have 3 in the 10 columns, and that means our number is what? Our number equals what? 3 tens. We have 3 tens, so that would be like 10 plus 10 plus 10, and our number is 35. So 35 equals 3 tens, or 10 plus 10 plus 10, and the 5 place value is 5 ones. Now, we've been learning this, and I'm almost sure that you know all this and remember all this, right? But let's go ahead and we're going to review the hundreds, and then we're going to go on to the thousands, all right? So let's say that we had the number. So I'm going to put the number down. Let's say we're going to have the number 623. Well, there we know we've got how many ones? We'll start all the way to the right. We have 3 ones. 1, which represents 3 items. 2, 3. How many tens do we have? We have 2 tens. That 2 tens represents 10 plus 10, which really is, those 2 tens really is, they really are 20, right? In the hundreds, we have 6 hundreds. That represents 100. And I could say times 6. Instead of writing 106 times, I could say 6 times. See how that works? You just did multiplication. Instead of writing down 106 times, I'm going to write down 100 6 times. 600. How about that? Is 663. Now let's move on to the next one. Thousands. So let's say that we had the number 4,756. Let's put a comma between. See here? See right here? There's a comma between our thousands and our hundreds, just like we did in our 3-digit math problems. So, we have, how many ones do we have? How many ones do we have? We have 6 ones. That represents 6 different items. 4, 5, and 6. How many tens do we have? We have 5 tens. Instead of writing down 10 5 times, I'm going to write down 10 one time. Five times. 5 times 10 is 50. Remember our multiplication tables, right? We could find that. We're going to look at those in a minute. Hundreds. How many hundreds do we have? We have 700s. Instead of writing down 100 7 times, I'm going to multiply. I'm going to write down 100 7 times. 7 times 100 is 700. So those 7, that 7 right here, this 7 here represents 700. The 4 represents 4,000. And I could write down 1,000 4 times, or I could write down 1,000 4 times to multiply 1,000 times 4, and that is 4,000. So the 4 in that number represents 4,000. Now we know a lot more about our place values, don't we? Let's erase everything. We're going to erase the board before we move on, because that's what we do. We clean up our messes before we move on. Did you brush your teeth this morning? Did you eat breakfast this morning? Remember, it is very hard for our minds to think when we don't have breakfast. And that is what we need to do when we're here in the classroom. We need to really be thinking. So we're cleaning up our messes on our chalkboards before we move on. Isn't that awesome? We totally did our place values. Let's turn that off. Let's turn on our to-do list and see where we are. All right, so we're going to do them at 10,000 when we get back next time. We did them to 1,000. That was as far as we got on the place value mat, and I'm pretty proud of that, right? Do you want to take a look at the 10,000? Where are we on time? Let's take a look at the 10,000, shall we? We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do what we said we were going to do on our list. Here are our 10,000 values. How about that? What if you had this much money? 45,773. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? How many ones do we have? 1, 2, 3 ones. 3 ones. How many tens do we have? 7 tens. 7 times 10 is 70. That 7 represents 70. It doesn't represent 7. It represents 70. How many hundreds do we have? 7. That represents what? 700. 7 times 100 is 700. How many thousands do we have? We have 5 thousands, don't we? 5 times 1,000 equals 5,000. When we do our ones, when we learn our multiplication tables for ones, we know that, for example, 5 times 1, how many 5s do you have? You have 1 5, so that equals 5, right? Well, if we multiply that by 10, 5 times 10, we would have 50. If we multiplied 5 times 100, we would have 500. If we multiplied 5 times 1,000, we would have 5,000. Put the comma there. Make it look nice, like it's supposed to. And if we had 5 times 10,000, we would have 50,000, right? Where can I add that 0? 50,000, right? So we only have to multiply the number that we're concerned with times 1 and then add the zeros. 5 times 10,000 is, what did I have here? It's supposed to be 10,000. Is 50,000. 5 times 1 is 5, and then add the zeros on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? How many 10,000s do we have? We have 4 10,000s. Oh, what did I do? I did that wrong. That was thousands, not. There we go, I guess. So 4 times 10,000. 1, 2, 3, 4. 10, and these are the thousands. How many in the thousands can we have? 10 in the thousands. So how many? 4 times 10 is 40,000. 40 times 10,000 is 40,000. So a few different ways. Hey, hi. A few different ways I'm showing you how to do this math. I should have turned me off so that I'm not distracting you over here. Kind of late for that, Dr. Feravich. You were a total distraction. Clean up our messes. Erase our chalkboard, just like we're supposed to do at the end of the day in the classroom. Erase our chalkboard or at the end of the lesson. And clean the chalkboard at the end of the day, right? So there we go. So we did our to-do list. We corrected our to-do list to place values to 10,000. Don't forget that we had the 3-digit math game, right? There's the 3-digit math game, and remember what I said is that you can change this 3-digit math game now to use more place values, right? So you mix up the cards and you pull 3 cards and your partner pulls 3 cards and you put them in order to get the best number. Actually, I think you pull 1 card at a time. I'm not sure. Read the directions. And you put then you total 3 sets, and whoever has the largest amount, the largest total at the end of 3 sets or 5 sets or whatever you decide to play, right? Whoever has the largest total gets a point. Lucy, where are you? Oh, shoot. I got to get Lucy. Sorry. Oh, she's not in her basket. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Lucy! Okay. Where am I? Okay, that was a total freak out. You want to know where she is? I'm going to show you. I got to be careful. I'm going to show you where she is. Look, you'll see her moving. She's right in her basket, right where she belongs. Do you see? Can you see? Oh, right there. Lucy. Lucy. She's right under her blanket, and she's not even moving. I couldn't even tell she was right there. I just freaked out. That's my freak out. That's a total freak out for Dr. Feravich. That was it. Sorry to disappoint you. Now where's my 3 thing? Now I can't see it. I'm gonna do this for each thing. Don't forget your multiplication tables, and to learn your multiplication tables, how much time do I have? I don't like that hungry caterpillar anymore. I think it's a little weird. I do, because you guys have perverted everything in the schools, and it's just unbelievable to me. So read the directions, and you can do and practice your place values and practice your numbers. So there's the instructions for playing. That's me. The 3-digit math game, which can be a 4-digit math game or a 5-digit math game or a 6-digit math game if you want it to be, right? Of course it could be. Why couldn't it be? Okay, so 3-digit math game, and then introducing fractions and coins. I've got to see if this is really, I worked really hard on this, and so I really want to do it. Where are we on time? We're at 42, so we're not going to get our science in if I do our math coins today. So I think I'm going to do our math coins tomorrow, although I have to say I did work really hard on it in order to start introducing some fractions. But we had a lot of math. Most of it actually was review. Let me see if I've got this. Let me just see if I've got it here. Yeah, so we're actually going to also do some leaves there on, we're going to try and do some leaves. Not try, we are going to do some leaves. For our science. So this is the activity that I would like you to do. There's a few things we're not getting to so that I'm not too rushed right now, right? But, and I'm gonna go a little bit long, but this is our activity that we're gonna do for a summer boredom buster, as we are going to try and find leaves. So that's what we're gonna do, is do a little bit of observation 4 leaves. But before we do that, there was a few things for money that I wanted to show you, and this is introducing our fractions. So when we have $1, 100% of that dollar, all of that dollar, when we have all of that dollar, gotta get that off of there because I don't know why that's on there. There we go. When we have 100% of that dollar, all of that dollar in pennies, we would have 100 pennies. 100 pennies equals $1. 100 pennies equal $1. Here's what a penny looks like, of course, with Lincoln on the front, and that is his, I think that's called Monticello, his estate on the back of the penny. Here's what the dollar looks like, right? George Washington, our very first president, is on the dollar. So $1 equals 100 pennies. Let's go over here and take a look at this. 5 pennies equal 1 nickel. Let me look at what we're looking at here. All right, that looks good. 5 pennies equal 1 nickel. 10 pennies equal 1 dime. 10 pennies equal 1 dime. And 1 dime is 1/10 of a dollar. I need 10 dimes to make $1. 10 dimes equal $1. Right? So here we have a row of 10 pennies. If I have 10 rows of 10 pennies, there are 10 rows of 10 pennies. That's the reason why I'm using the multiplication table, so you can see how many pennies I have across the top there. Across the top here, I have 10 pennies. And down the side here, I have 10 pennies. 10 times 10 equals 100. 10 times 10 equals 100. That's why I have that across there. All right, let me undo all that. $10 times 5 equals 50. So when I have 10 pennies across the top, let's get back to my arrows. 10 pennies across the top, 5 pennies down the side here. If I fill those all in, 10 times 5 is 50. You would be able to count those and you would have 50. Four quarters equal $1. 1 quarter is 1/4 of $1, right? If 4 quarters equal $1 and I have 1 quarter, I have 1 out of 4 quarters. I have 1/4, 1 quarter. That's why it's called a quarter, because I have 1 quarter. That's 1/4 is actually the same as a quarter. 1/4 is the same as a quarter. So when I have 1/4, I have 1/4 of a dollar. I want to undo those. $25 pennies equals 1/4 of a dollar. 25 pennies equal a quarter. 1/4 equals 1/4 of a dollar. We did it! We did it! And I was able to do it and draw in there like I couldn't do with my PowerPoints before. We did it. Now you can review that with the money. We're going to review it. That was the first time. You're like, I don't get it. Maybe you don't get it. Maybe you don't get it, but you will get it soon enough. Now, let's take a look at, we're going to do some observation. So, and I don't have any socks and shoes on, and I have to get my socks and shoes on, and I probably might have to put Lucy inside because she's, well, I'll see if she wants to walk with me. She probably does want to walk with me. The first thing that I wanted to show you, though, in our observation is this. I'm going to go walk over to the tree, and I'm going to show you. The first thing I want to show you in our observation. Now, remember what I said? I'm letting some of these plants grow because I want to find out what they are. And I said yesterday that I want to take down some of these weeds because these weeds are not flowering. I wanted to see what flowers they would have, and I'm not seeing any flowers, and they're just getting fuller and fuller. How do I know that they are weeds? How do I know they're weeds? Well, I know that they are weeds yeah, and I'm really disappointed too because these plants, remember we were observing these plants down here, right? And that they are all pretty much dying here, and that chair knocked over and both of those plants uprooted, when these plants really are supposed to, you can see way over there, right? How the purple flowers are coming in. These are supposed to bloom in the early spring and then the summertime like this, and they all got uprooted. But look at how you can see I'm gonna climb around here. Sorry about I'm getting everything in the camera. Look at now how you can see the seeds in there though, right? I mean, that is pretty amazing. But remember when I pulled this off and I said that is on the outside, and that color actually got off on my fingers, if you remember. But look at there, you can see there are the seeds on the inside, right? I want to show you something else, and the best way that you can see it is going to be from a distance. Sorry about that. So I'm going to make, yep, all right. So we're looking at this tree right there. This tree right there. I'm going to go walk over to that tree, and that's the one that we're looking at, all right? So I want to show you from a distance what I saw, because I've been talking about cells, right? We've been talking about cells and different cells, and the best way for you to understand what a cell is to look at a cell in a leaf. That's the best way. Can you see? And I'm not talking about the veins there. Lucy, sit down, honey. Sit down in your basket. I'm not talking about the veins here. I'm talking about inside the veins. Can you see? Look at that. Can you see all of the different circles in this leaf? I want to hold it up to the light. Can you see? There we go. Look at that. You can't you see that? So not the veins here. These are the veins in the leaf right here. Those are the veins. But in between the veins, when you hold up the light when you hold it up to the lights, you could see these circles right there. See them? Those are cells. Those are the cells of, oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. You can see the cells right in that leaf. That's observation. That's observation. And we ask questions. I know those are cells because I remember from my science talking about those. See, I don't have the light behind it. A little bit I do. So that's why I go, see? And there are little tiny veins. But in between those little tiny veins, I can only see it on this side. I can't see it on the other side. You can see, that's a horrible nail. You can see the cells. I just find that to be so fascinatingly beautiful. See the tiny, tiny, tiny lines in there? Those are separating the cells in the leaf. And we're talking about cells in our critical thinking class. Now I am going to walk around. I want to show you. Oops. The different leaves, right? So the leaf activity that you want to try and do is you want to try and identify the leaves on different trees. There's a few things I want to show you as you are observing and walking around and looking at things and asking questions. That's what I wanted to say. So I knew that there was kind of foul play all around, and I've been talking about that in my mystery series going on my plants. But the thing here, these are the flowers from last year. And this is what bloomed last year. And they never were any whiter than that. So there was something clearly in the soil that would make this look that brown. Because these flowers, and that's what I said, they were putting something in the soil and they were destroying my trees because they don't care about plants and the environment. Those were the people in this neighborhood, and I told my association president, and he didn't care that they were doing this. Now we cleaned up the water because of my video. Our water is so much cleaner than it ever has been. They had to clean all those weeds out of there because you know why? They were putting fertilizer in there, and that's why all the plants were growing the way they were growing in there. And then they had to kill them, right? And then all the yard people had all kinds of work to do in the neighborhood, didn't they? That's what they were doing. Look at what these are supposed to look like. They're supposed to be this beautiful, look at that, lemon green color. And see the little tiny buds that are there? There we go. See the little tiny buds that are there? All those hundreds and hundreds of buds on each one of those. Hundreds. Hold on now. Hundreds of buds on each one of those. That's what you should be outside observing. Look at that. And they're turning into all of these beautiful flowers. All those buds and all those flowers. And I barely had any last year. And now all of a sudden, everything is blooming. I think I showed you last week on Wednesday the yellow flowers that I had down there, right? That were blooming. Let's go around, and I do want to go to the back. I think we're going to go through the house because it'll be easier. Yeah. I've noticed that some of the buds on my plants, come on Lucy, they've gotten to And as I showed you last week, I showed you the daisy that was basically pretty much sealed shut, right? There's my Christmas tree. How does that happen? Because it can't happen in nature. That can't happen in nature. So how does that happen? These yellow flowers down here, almost everything down here was, no, Lucy, stay, no, go sit down, go sit. Almost everything down there was dying. Every year I had to replant and plant hundreds of dollars. These are the questions inside. These are the questions that you want to ask yourself. No, come on. How does this happen in nature? You don't want people telling you, oh, this just happens, right? And this is what's been happening, especially if you're by yourself, right? And you have to learn to do these things by yourself. You don't want somebody to tell you, oh, that's just this. And there's no explanation. That's what they're doing on the news. They're just saying words, and the words mean nothing. Oh, it's this. Well, you're a garden guy, fix it. What do you mean, oh, it's this, right? Oh, look at those yellow flowers that I have here. All these yellow flowers every year were brown, and they never, now I fired them all. Now they're all coming in. Look at that. Look at how gorgeous those flowers are. All of this is coming in. I had to replace this plant. Look at this. They are getting to my plants over here, though. They have been getting to my plants, and you can tell because this kind of thing doesn't happen in nature. Where did that go? They're ripping these things off. They were growing perfectly fine until you see interference with them. Remember, this had all of those white flowers there that were sealed shut. So none of the leaves could, so none of the seeds could replant. That doesn't happen in nature. Nature makes flowers so that they seed and the seeds spread. These are the things you want to know. Are things happening that make sense? They're telling you that everything that happens doesn't make sense, but that's simply not true. There are beetles around who would be doing this to my plant, but beetles don't burn edges of plants like that. Let me get it like this. Whoops, let me keep turning that on. Beetles don't burn edges of plants. Remember I was showing you the burnt edges? Beetles don't cause, well, those are not dry and they will not germinate. Where are the baby flowers down here? Half dead. So that's not nature. Nature doesn't make plants in order to just keel over and die. Remember I showed you the plant over here. I know. This is why people want the property. You could see why they're like, they want women to be dependent on men, and they want them to never be able to make money at all unless they're making money in a tawdry kind of way. This is what's going on, and this is why we need early birds, why we need a revolution. It's why we need a revolution. Over here, this plant, all of these plants I planted because all of the contractors who were